Are you on the computer?
No, I didn't open it.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know how good this microphone is here, just in case.
Sound good, Tim.
Thanks, Doc. Jim Stairs is sitting about 10, 15 feet away from me. I'm gonna have him fire up his laptop just in case you guys can't hear everything through this computer. So just give him a minute and then I imagine he's gonna kick off. No, you can. Okay, sure, you can sit here. Stand by, he's relocating. So Emily, you might have a really close-up shot.
Yeah, the left side of my, or the right side of my ear. Yeah. I would have gone to the hairdresser before I came. So, just out of curiosity, for anybody out there in virtual land, can you hear me all right? Come on.
This is really sensitive.
Oh, unmute. Ah, there you go.
I thought it
Good,
was-
you're
I
here.
thought it was unmuted. I was talking to Dr. Keith.
Yeah, for anybody who's out there, Alan, maybe, can you hear me all right?
Just turn it to you a little more.
Or Dr. McHugh, how about me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. Yeah, unless you have something else, they're very directional. All right, well then, in the interest of calling the meeting to order, I have 6:06, and between our virtual attendance and physical attendance, Carol has indicated that we do have a quorum. She thinks we do. Yeah, go ahead. No.
Les Fremantle.
Les Fremantle?
Dennis Wood. EJ is here. Steve Meehan, I believe, was on.
Yes, Steve Meehan is here virtually.
Steve Neer is virtually.
Steve Neer virtually.
Kathy Allen, virtual.
Kathy Allen, yes.
Okay. Ben Formers is excused. Tracy. Jim Nina.
Here.
Alex Moulton. Dr. McHugh is on, correct?
Dr. McHugh is here virtually. Yes.
How about Dr. Daly?
I don't see Dr. Daly yet.
Steve Kroll is virtual.
Steve Kroll's present.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Carol.
Emery Cross.
No, I don't see him.
Lynn Kane, is she on?
She said, but I don't see her.
No, don't see Lynn.
George is here, Gail is here, Alan Bell is on.
Yep, Alan is here virtually.
Steve is here, Jeff, is Jeff on?
I do not see him.
Maria Walker, I think she has class. Charles Wells.
I don't see Charles.
Adam Payne,
Yes.
is on. Paul Seager,
No, so Bruce said remote too. I don't see him.
okay. Maria Wackenstein. And then Richard Salucci.
No, Rich was teaching tonight.
Oh. Yeah, different first name. Lynn is actually here. She just joined virtually. Lynn Kane.
I am here.
Yep, thank you. And just for the benefit of anybody, I see a Lisa West, which is not ringing a bell.
Hi, this is Lisa. I'm covering for Anne Marie. I'm the new director at Saratoga Hospital, and Anne Marie is unable to be here tonight. So she had given me the minutes to share with everyone from the nurse
right.
renewal meeting.
Terrific. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right. We're good to go. We can call the meeting to order at, well, I guess at 6:09. We do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So for the benefit of you guys appearing virtually, realize that the technology that we're using is simply Tim's laptop, and we're hoping that it is sensitive enough. Obviously, someone heard Carol earlier, and she's on the other side of the room, so that's actually working pretty good. But we'll try and make improvements moving forward. But that's what we got for this evening. Excuse members. You mentioned Rich Lucy, Paul Segru. Who was the other one? Oh, Maria Walker. Yep, Ben Bornhorst and Anne-Marie Cross. All right, excellent. So you're trying to eat, but it's you. So Tim with the executive director.
As soon as I swallow that bite of pizza. Okay, it's a rather lengthy report. I know we haven't met in a couple months. I'll try to condense it in the interest of brevity and get the meeting rolling. The Remo Arms consolidation is still moving forward. Resolutions have been signed. DOH is well aware. We're going to continue operating as separate entities until retires out there. At that time, I guess we assume the operations. I don't expect a lot of things to change. It's going to be something new for us here. There's going to be some glitches. We'll roll with the punches, and we'll make the necessary changes if we have to. Pretty much right now, we run our shop remotely here. We get very little foot traffic from our providers, et cetera. And I'm thinking it's going to stay the same, at least for the ARMS providers, credentialing wise, so forth like that. I don't expect much changes. Am I going to have to make a road trip once in a while, or M or Dave Galati or something? Sure, I think that's going to happen. Just to show our faces, do some meet and greets and stuff. But by and large, I think I expect everything, hopefully, to still be run out of the Remo offices here. New contracts, big question mark. We're still waiting. I went to a directors meeting, state directors meeting last Monday. Nobody has a new contract yet, but rumor has it they're getting close to being issued. And when they do, I will let everybody know. EMS training. We had a busy summer, and it's shaping up to be a fairly busy fall. We're actually going to hold an AEMT class for the first time in several years. We had a lot of interest in that. Last one we held, I think, was back in the old building, and we had 4 students. I think we have 13 or 14 students registered and paid for this class. So that's going to be a go. Our Remo night EMT class starts a week from today or tomorrow here. I believe we have 25 or 26 registered for that. Big question mark is whether or not we're going to go with our SUNY EMT class, which starts around the same time. On low enrollment in that class is very low right now. If we do pull the plug, and we'll make that decision in the next day or two, the students that did register will be offered a seat in our Remo night class. Our sponsorship renewal, we finally got word our sponsorship renewal was okay, so we're good to go in that aspect for another couple of years. And the Remo administrative assistant position, I'm happy to announce that Roxanne Mitchell, SUNY Masters of Public Health grad student, has accepted the position. I was notified, well, before I issued this report, or after I issued this report. Was it this morning or last night that Roxanne is going to take the front desk position? She's going to come in this week to complete her paperwork. Once Dave Galati gets her up to speed at the front desk, Dave's going to work his way into medical standards with Emily. And our plan is, I think, to start is have one of them assigned to the Remo region, one of them assigned to the Ames region, and we'll see how that goes. Other than that, the EMS Memorial was held actually inside last week due to the threat of inclement weather. It was a really good turnout at the Swire Theater. Vital signs coming up. Downtown also at the Plaza or the Convention Center, October 26th through 30th. And that concludes my report, unless anybody has any questions.
Excellent. All right, I don't have a chairperson report. Obviously, Tim covered most of what we actually interacted about over the summertime, and that was essentially the issues with errors and how we might move that forward. Again, it's somewhat frustrating because we thought we would actually be dancing the dance at this point, but it'll come in due time, and probably gave us more of an opportunity to get ready than we initially thought we would have. I don't have anything under issue discussions.
Dr. Daly said he would be here, but I don't see him, and he did not notify me that he would not be here, but he's
Okay.
not.
Maybe we'll,
Maybe he got one.
well, we'll skip over Medical Director, Dr. McHugh. Do you want to do REMAC and academic?
Sorry, I'm just finishing up grocery shopping on the way out of my shift. Just got out late. So I'm kind of shooting from the hip off of memory. So there was discussion about EMS wait time. There's a subcommittee that has started looking into any ways that we can help to improve that. Otherwise, it was a fairly lean agenda. We had a discussion about a rapid confusion score, which is going to get put out to all the services as a suggestion to use, would help to decide who has capacity to make decisions, particularly on questionable RMAs. And I think that should be sent out if it hasn't been already. Sorry, our next meeting is going to be 2 weeks from now.
Very good. Any questions for Dr. McHugh? Do you want to do treasures? Sure. I was going to say, I don't know. I was going to say for.
Can everybody hear PJ?
No. Nope.
Yep, we'll fix it. Okay, how's that story go? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right, great. Okay, obviously, this is the August financial report produced in September. Everything is in pretty good shape. Our total assets are 469,000 as compared to 498 last year. Some of the explanation of that is obviously we have withdrawn money to put into our operating account, which we had budgeted for this past year. In addition to that, I think Steve will probably address the fact that we, in September, we did, you'll see total cash is 95,000, but we did take 50 of that out and invested that in high yield bonds in September, and I think Steve will address that. Our training account, everything is falling in order. You'll see that there's a loss of $4,000. However, we have about $46,000 that's outstanding in accounts receivable. For that, the state still owes us. Some of that is very old and some is current or will be current. And if we do that, we're going to fall very much in line with our budgeted amount. We had budgeted a $51,000 profit. We're going to come in at about 42,000 with that receivable. So that's very good. In addition to that, in our operating account, if you review that, you'll see that there was a bottom line put in that said total profit loss, total profit of 37,000.
not totally accurate because of the appropriated fund balance of 40,000 that we put in. So at the end of August, we've got a total profit of about 3,500 or negative $3,500. That's about it. Expenses are right in line. Income is in line when you throw the receivables in there, and very pleased with the operation. Any questions? Okay.
In the interest of not moving, we want to just jump out of order
Yeah.
and stay with the budget.
You want to go to the budget?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim said we should go to the budget. Tim did pass the budget out to you. Our recommendation is that we use this as a preliminary budget for now. We have done this the last couple of years. I feel very confident in the budget that we have proposed. However, as Tim has explained to you, because of the Aaron situation kind of up in the air, it's our hope that we'll be able to hone down and solidify that a little bit more moving forward. This year, we also put our year-to-date expenses in. Now, remember, this is through August as compared to last year. So you can see where we came up with these budgeted numbers. I think we feel extremely confident in these numbers. And again, we've upped the training budget from 51,000 profit to 75,000. And one of the reasons for that is obviously we spent months in determining what the tuition base would be for the MT courses moving forward. Again, we recognize that it's going to take a year for us to really sift this out, but on the cash basis, I think it's going to make a huge difference. One of the differences we have budgeted $25,000 for textbooks, but out of the 164,000 Remo course fees that we have budgeted, that 25,000 was also included in there. So really, we had budgeted 150 for 21-22. Our actual budget for 22-23 is 139. So I think that's very conservative. I think we can do more than that. So again, feel very confident in these numbers. We had a couple one-time expenses in the previous year, which was about 11 to 13,000 was the online management system in our training, which reduced our profit down, but that won't happen moving forward. So I think we're totally heading in the right direction. If these numbers fall in line together with the Aaron's budget, we could be seeing some light at the end of the tunnel and reducing or eliminating our appropriated fund balance completely. So again, my recommendation is we just use this as a preliminary budget until next month when we can pass a permanent budget. Any questions? All right, I'll turn it back over to Jim.
Without an official motion for approval, just sit where we are.
I don't know, because it wouldn't hurt because the fiscal year
Yeah.
ends September 30th, the end of this week.
Yeah.
So basically, I guess it would be more or less a contingent budget for a month there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might not be bad to have a vote to approve that. Just my thought.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said first, so we'll go with PJ made a motion that we extend the current budget, the best way to describe it, for a minimum of 30 days to allow the process with ARMS to play out and us to have a better foundation upon which to actually present a budget for adoption. That motion was seconded by Jim Vina. Any questions on the motion? I was going to say, I'll just throw this out because it was part of a thread and Dr. Daly is not here if he was going to actually ask this question in person. But he did
You want to call roll?
Nah,
No?
we
Okay.
just- I think we just do a voice vote, right?
Okay.
Anyway, Dr. Daly had asked a question in the email thread relating to a couple of questions he had for the ARMS budget. And unfortunately, the information that we have from them is essentially their information. Clearly, they are not as detailed as we are. He made reference to, I think, a medical director's salary, and do you remember what the other one was?
He wanted to keep the medical director's expense line at least the same. In the future, maybe exploring increasing that. And he mentioned the ARMS medical director. But I got confirmation from ARMS today that their medical director expenses are paid through their Remsco account and not the program agency.
Okay.
So hopefully we're not going to have to worry about that.
And I simply bring that up because, Tim asked for a couple different times for additional detail. Unfortunately, their accounting system and how they report things is not how we do it. So realistically, until we have their checkbook in front of us, we probably can't, provide the same finite detail that we would normally have as it relates to how we do business. I was going to say, and I see a question. Dean.
Is the ARMS medical director, I believe that the only thing that we're really merging are the program agencies, correct? Their
Yes.
MAP and their Remsco or whatever they call it, their ARMS program agency. The program agencies are merging, but their councils are staying. Is that correct?
Correct.
So Dr. Daly and Dr. McHugh are going to remain the Remo chair and medical director, and the ARMS seats will remain there intact also, correct?
Correct.
We are also looking, I thought we were looking into merging the Remax because it doesn't make sense for us to be having discussions without them when operationally would be involving them.
Yeah, and that's it. It certainly does make sense. But at least from the process with Department of Health and from a budgetary perspective, all we really have authorization to do in actuality is program agency related consolidation. So you guys can certainly do that. And it makes sense. It's just that for a time, their Remsco would continue to exist as is.
Thank you.
All right. Well, with no other questions, is there anyone who would choose to vote no? Anyone wishing to abstain? Excellent. Then we'll call it as motion carried. So I thank PJ for staying up here and jumping out of order there. Disciplinary actions, we have two, one that's in the minutes that I'll read and a second one that was added since the publication of the meeting minutes or meeting agenda. The first one is Michael Septoff of Dover, New Jersey, New York State EMT number 401-686, had his certification revoked effective 9/2/22, and he was assessed a civil penalty of $2,000 for violations of Part 800.16A4. The one that was added was for Will Davis of Astoria, New York State EMT number 450-803, surrendered his certification effective 9/21/22 for violations of Part 800.16A4. From a, or I should actually jump back. One of the things that I can report on is CON committee. Thankfully, we continue to run without a need to convene the committee. So that's a great thing in terms of summertime, and we're past that. So course notifications, we have some from Remo, Town of Guilderland, Mohawk Ambulance, and Columbia County. Just out of full disclosure, it was my belief that there was a component of this new process that would actually require Remo to sign off on these courses as they come through, and that is no longer the case. So I know a couple of them I saw actually showed for approval, and the approval is actually given without the, in this case, Remo approval.
Yeah, Jim, that's why I put the strike through applications, wrote notifications, because DOH does not send those course apps to the program agencies any longer. They're ended up in the Remsco chair laps, and it's up to them to disseminate that. So moving forward, when what you see there, it'll just be course notifications, and I'll list whatever Jim sends me. So.
Yep. Seems, like any new process, I think it's a work in process. Yeah, we'll kick it forward. So no other correspondence other than what was mentioned above. The executive committee did not meet. Finance, Steve?
Hi, Jim. Good afternoon, everybody. PJ already mentioned that we did make some investment moves this quarter. Our broker recommended $50,000 in high yield bonds for us, and given the direction that the market is moving, we felt we have always been favorable to bonds as the investment vehicle for Remo. We had about $90,000 in cash that was not really accruing any interest sitting in the investment accounts. 50,000 of that's been invested. That leaves 40,000 in cash. We had held off on making investments earlier in 2022 because there was uncertainty about the overall status of the budget. Obviously, Tim has given us a favorable, PJ has given us a favorable report overall. And with that, we felt we didn't need to have that much cash sitting in the account. Additionally, of course, we did see some investment losses in August of 2022. I don't think anybody's surprised given the things that have happened in the market, but given our balanced portfolio, they're not extensive. And with the end of the quarter coming at the end of October, I'll have a chart for you that shows our year-to-date performance through 3 quarters. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Steve? Whisper quiet here. On
Not the
Madison.
most exciting stuff, I understand.
No, it's all right. How about New York State EMS Council? Since I have you.
Yep. Well, the New York State EMS Council just met last week, and we meet again December 6th or 7th. I do have some things to share. Tim also mentioned the Vital Site coming to Albany. There'll be 6 tracks on October 26th through 28th. There is a pre-conference on EMS leadership that is being heavily promoted by the Bureau of EMS. People all over New York State have been asking for leadership training for entry-level supervisors. And so I would encourage you, if you've got any entry-level supervisors, to look at that pre-con, even if they're not attending the full conference, as something that they can do locally. There are a couple of major projects happening at the CMAC and the Remsco. One of the things that was talked about at this meeting, and Dr. Daly was at the CMAC meeting, is the delay in turnovers for hospitals for EMS agencies. I know that we have a group getting together that our REMAC has put together. Jay Tyler is going to be leading that effort. The CMAC has requested a meeting with the Public Health Council, which is the companion body that advises the commissioner on hospital issues, so that we can get a dialogue started at the statewide level on coming up with some sort of ways to mitigate this project. For anybody who's interested, the California Hospital Association has produced a 120-page guide on reducing hospital waiting times for EMS agencies for drop-off. That is a document that had a lot of ideas in it. So we're going to see about getting the CMAC representatives and the Public Health Council representatives together to talk about finding some mitigating strategies for something that clearly is not going to be a short-term issue and will continue persisting. There is an EMS sustainability tag that I've described for this group before, that's putting together a document that will be given to the governor's office and the state legislature on things that should be done to make EMS more sustainable. By our fall meetings, we should have a first draft of that for people to look at. Tim mentioned his written report that we're waiting for the Remsco contracts. The Remsco was told by the Bureau that the contracts are completed and are about to be sent out to the Remscos to be signed. I know that'll be good for Tim to be able to get that off the plate of things that have to do. The Commissioner of Health has signed off on the idea of there being a statewide EMS medical director position. And it looks like it's going to take a bunch of time for it to actually develop from a conceptual thing to the development of an actual position statement and an actual hiring of somebody. But in the future, there should be a new statewide EMS medical director within the Bureau of EMS. I do have one thing that I'm asking for a volunteer for, if anybody is interested. There's a technical advisory group at the Remsco that is meeting to work on policies for diversity, equity, and inclusion in EMS. Each region has been asked to provide a volunteer to work on that technical advisory group. If there's anybody at Remo who would be interested, anyone on this Remsco that's interested in diversity, equity, inclusion work, if you contact me or Tim, we can make arrangements to put you in touch with the head of the tag, and you could serve as our representative on the tag. Two last issues to mention. Body armor for EMS providers appears not to be an issue. If everybody remembers, there was legislation that was passed during the last legislative session that limited the use of body armor for people, and you had to have a legitimate purpose to make the purchase of it in New York State. The guidance has been written to implement that, and that guidance does include EMS among those that are permitted to have wear vests and body armor. So that issue appears to have been mitigated. And the last thing to mention is digital EMT cards are now live. Everybody should have received Bureau of EMS Policy Statement 22-11 that tells EMTs and agencies how to make sure they have they're in the health commerce system. But now you can download a digital EMT card under the instructions in that policy statement. And Tim, I'd be glad to answer any questions on what happened at CMAC and Remsco, and that's my report.
Any questions for Steve? Excellent. Thank you, Steve. Lisa, are you interested in?
Put the chairs away while I'm in the shower.
Yeah, did you drink all the cider last time? Because I never got any.
Should mute him. Lisa, are you interested in providing a nurse's report?
Yes, I would be happy to. Anne-Marie had shared the meeting minutes from the October 25th, 2022 Remo Nurse Committee meeting. Dr. Daly and the group discussed the transfer of patients with blood products and sort of the legislation around that. And then there was that sort of segued into a discussion on transferring of patients to hospitals with the greatest capacity. And obviously we're aware that, you know, EMS arrives at a hospital, has a long sort of offload delay, which impacts your ability to get back out into the community. So there was much discussion about getting patients to the places where they could receive care the quickest. In regards to volumes and staffing, the folks on the call all agreed with increased volumes. There's been decreased capacity within our EDs and our hospitals. This is coupled with staffing issues. And of course, it's happening throughout the capital region. There's no hospital that is immune to that. During the open discussion, there was talk about IV infusion pump loss during transfer. And most end up at Albany Med. And there's thoughts about looking into a courier solution to return pumps to the sending facility. And then last but not least, St. Peter's is ready to test their Pulsera system. The Colony, Empire, and Mohawk have cleared. And then Dr. Daly had suggested that St. Peter's work with Carol at Mohawk. And that is all I have.
Excellent, thank you. Any questions for Lisa? I'll just hang. So PJ with the MCI report.
Okay, there's no current MCI report right now. However, Columbia County will be doing an active shooter drill in November. We plan to test the MCI plan as it is in place right now in working with all the PSAPs in all the counties. So again, we won't be requesting ambulances to respond, but we'll be looking to see what could possibly be available. So we'll be testing that out and refreshing all the PSAPs.
Excellent. Thank you, Peach. Membership is an open position, so I'll probably mention it twice at least. But if anybody's interested in serving as the chair of the membership committee, send Tim an email. Nominating. I was gonna say, do I see her? No. Okay, so more than likely, no nominating committee report. Awards. No report from awards. Albany County. I don't know that we have anybody. Do we, Tim? Can I not connect?
I don't see him.
No, okay. Columbia County. Steve?
Nothing notable.
Okay, Greene County. Another Steve. Yep, Steve here.
Nothing really to report, but on a side note, we also had an MCI last month. We had a major incident on the thruway with 15 patients. We got a lot of help from the surrounding county. So I just want to say thank you to anybody that's in here from the county surrounding Greene County. We appreciate the help. We had over 10 agencies respond. We had all 15 patients transported off the scene, and it was a major operation. So thanks to anybody that's in here that sent your ambulances. It's much appreciated.
Excellent, thank you. Rensselaer County, Kathy?
No report.
Saratoga, no. Oh, no, yeah, yeah. Looking at the screen and I just had to look up. Schenectady County, Jim Vina. No report, excellent. All right, Paige has already discussed the operating budget. Obviously, again, anybody who's interested in serving as a membership chair, send Tim an email or send me an email, whatever. The only thing I'll bring up in terms of other new businesses, obviously, as we move into a situation where there's going to be more of these virtual and in-person meetings, and or we try and support the long distance meetings that are going to become much more likely as the process with ARMS occurs, that I mentioned to Tim and just mentioned to PJ, is we probably have to include a line item or an expenditure to avail ourselves of the technology that will do this a little bit better, and certainly with an eye to improve technology, where, as an example, if PJ wanted to, and this is not to single him out, but if he actually wanted to share the budget and make more of a presentation as opposed to you guys receiving it all by email, that we could do that with some of the technology as well. So that's kind of on the I guess on the back burner as well, as we try and figure this out moving forward. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up under new business? Okay, we have nothing under old business. Any items from the floor or from the floor virtually?
Tim, Steve, near Greene County. I had a question. As the new guy in the group, I saw that Remsco wanted to change the TXA dose to 2 grams. The last I knew in Remo, it was 1 gram. So just for my understanding, when Remsco passes something, how does that affect us at Remsco, Remo?
I think we're in a holding pattern right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, Carol.
I think they're ultimately gonna make a change to the two.
Yeah, but we haven't had anything formulative yet or definitive.
So,
Yeah.
Right, Tim.
Yep.
But the answer to the question would be that when the CMAC makes a protocol change, and that gets into the statewide collaborative protocol, it would be the dosage that we use in this region, because we are a participant in the collaborative protocol. So it has some steps to go through, but we are part of that protocol. And so if it goes at the state level to 2, we're going to go to 2.
All right, thank you.
Do we need to make a motion for funds for the technology?
We can work on that, present that next month.
Okay.
How's that?
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Will be part of the budget.
Yeah, for the benefit of you guys, virtually, Jim Vina had just asked if we needed a motion at this time relative to technology upgrades. And as part of the discussion here in person, PJ said we'll probably research the cost and hopefully bring a particular amount forward at next meeting. Any other items from the floor? So our next meeting would be October 24. For the benefit, do you think your comments at the beginning were part of the meeting or that was just for us here?
What comments were
Regarding attendance virtually or otherwise?
No, I don't think that, I don't need to mention it. I mean, if for folks listening, there was a little bit of confusion relative to physical quorum requirements, physical attendance and remote attendance. Seems to be 2 different opinions out there right now. The state has one opinion. Our legal counsel has another opinion. Obviously tonight, it's a hybrid meeting. We have some people in-house. We have a lot of people out-house. I don't know what the right answer is right now. I have the state telling me one thing. I have our lawyer telling me another thing. I'm going to send another email tomorrow to hopefully get a definitive answer by October. But I'm just assuming this meeting is okay relative to public meeting requirements.
So stay tuned. We'll know whether we got to come here or whether some of us can stay home.
What I can say is that my state directors meeting last Monday night, it was virtually unanimous amongst all the directors that we continue with remote. Participation has been up, productivity has been up. To me, it's a step backwards. It would be a step backwards if we remove that requirement, especially in light of these new consolidations that are taking effect. People are going to be expected to travel great distances now, much longer than, say, PJ from Columbia County. We'll have people that are probably 2 hours plus out. So to me, it'd be a step back if this process is not continued or allowed to continue.
Yeah, and the other thing, which is worth mentioning, is Tim related. Obviously, we're talking about what we would do with ARMS, but the process of program agency consolidation is occurring in several different places around the state. And while we look at our own geographical challenges, there are some other locations where it's, you're traveling over the top the Adirondacks to get from where a meeting may be held to an agency or a county that would participate. So it's got to be something the state is considering. Obviously, we're making these moves at their request or at their suggestion. So we're hoping that they're also open to common sense as it relates to using technology that's readily available to make this happen.
Steve Kroll, a question for you. Could legislative look into this?
Jim, I heard my name, but I didn't hear the question.
It was from Tim, Steve. Could Remsco legislative look into this and see, if there's any options there relative to continuing the hybrid format?
I think they can. So let me write that down. Legislative, continue hybrid format. And mostly because of consolidation of regions, increase in participation. Yeah, I will look into that. The allowance has been because of COVID. And like you said, our lawyer and our bureau director gave us different answers. I think that we might be, I assume you're talking about Terry, our lawyer?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to talk to Terry. What I don't want to do is get us in trouble, right? Because if we point a spotlight at ourselves, if we're doing this and they don't want us doing this, we could, So let me look into it. I will definitely bring it up at the next legislative committee meeting in December. And Tim, perhaps you and I can brainstorm a little bit with Terry before that meeting, so we don't cause ourselves any pain. But I think all the arguments here are spot on that we should be able to do it this way.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I said this to Tim, but as you're advancing the
Discussions moving forward, whether you wanted to call all of EMS a pilot program for allowing virtual participation, or just Remo as a pilot program, it never hurts to get involved so that you're reporting back with your
Right.
successes and the use of technology. So I'm just throwing it out.
So yeah, Jim, this is New York State open meetings law. It has nothing to do with EMS. But we are advancing an EMS agenda that says we should have more distance learning, because we don't want people to have to drive, just the same, people having to drive from remote, our region's not the most remote. Well, let's face it, someone coming from Southern Columbia County or Greene County to come to an EMT class in Colony, it's kind of a long haul. So, there's been the advantages of remote training. So I think we can, in our position statement as the Remsco, asking for remote training, I don't see any reason why we can't say remote administrative operations of the Remscos.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, was that as we or you approach the potential, what would you call it, exception with the open meetings law, that we as EMS in general could say, hey, Department of State, could you possibly offer EMS an exception or a pilot program as an exception to open meetings? So that was my suggestion.
It's a good idea. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Someone like to make a motion to adjourn? Alex?
Sure.
Got a motion by Jim Vena, seconded by Dale Lingenfelter. Anyone wishing to abstain or vote no? All right, I thank you guys for your participation. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.